Haina volume. Haina volume ama iongei? Oh, iongei, si ndio?
Haina sauti ya unasikia? Hii ina mikrofoni.
Good evening, members. Thank you for joining the webinar. We are going to start in a few minutes. Our host is here. I can see some of our delegates. Karibuni sana, Simiyu, Kabi. I want to also recognize the presence of our board of directors. We have Amos Mageto. Karibu sana. We have Agneta. Karibu sana. We also have our CEO on board, Dr. Julius Betts. He's the one who's going to introduce our main guests. So please share the link to those ones who have not joined, because we are going to start in 5 minutes time. If your microphone is on, kindly mute it. Okay.
Ile maji ile ya dongi au juu ile wanakanyaga hiyo ni dongi.
Anthony Asava, microphone yako iko on na? Asante, you have muted it. Thank you. So members, today we are going to have a very interactive meeting. So prepare maswali, all the questions that you have, prepare. Our facilitator is going to answer. Where he is not able to answer, we are going to answer because SACCO staff are also here and the directors are also here. So please take your time to learn more from our host. We have a facilitator who is going to lead us through this session. He's called Daniel Kithinji. He's here with us. Before he joins, the CEO will introduce him and also introduce the directors who are here. Noah Okach, asante sana kwa kujoin. I can see you have your colleagues there. Karibuni sana. Yes, I can see you're still in the office. Yes, thank you. Okay. So Dr. Beth, if you can hear me.
I can hear you, Emily.
Yep. We'd like you to introduce the facilitator and give us a brief of the day's education and what our members expect from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Good evening, members, and welcome to our today's webinar session. I think we had agreed in the previous meetings that we should be having such meetings every other month so that at least members can get through. So our main speaker today is Daniel Kithinji, as you have been informed. Daniel is a managing partner. He's a consultant. He's been training most of the SACCOs within Nairobi and its environs. And today is going to take us more on our financial or personal finance. Basically, because that's his area of expertise. He will tell us more about what we can do with the funding we have. And we know the year 2023 has been the most challenging year, especially because of the new taxations which have come in. It has really impacted on us negatively, all of us, whichever country we are in. So we do appreciate him for coming, and he will take us through most of the questions, how SACCOs can cope with the challenges on taxation. He will also deal more on how do we manage the few finances we have. He'll also tell us about what other investment options we can invest. He'll also deal with the issues of how areas arise. How do we deal with it so that at least we can be able to manage the areas? You'll also deal with the issues of guarantorship, what has been there. You'll also deal with issues on data protection, because as a SACCO, we have been handling most of your personal items. So with these few remarks about Daniel, I wish to invite him to take on the session. I think before the end of the session, I'll be introducing the members of the board who are with us. I think initially we had introduced Amos and Madam Magineta. The other ones I've seen the other board members on board, and they'll also be there to share some questions with us. I'll introduce them to you. So over to you, Daniel. Daniel.
Thank you, Daktari. Good evening to you, Dr. Bet.
Good evening.
Good evening, Manager Emery and other managers who are in the platform. Good evening, directors of Nyati Sacco, and the delegates of Nyati Sacco, and the members who are joining. I wish to appreciate each one of you for taking time to join this webinar. I humbly request that when it's not your turn to speak, please ensure that your mic is muted so that we don't have echo in between. Kindly, Daktari, confirm you can hear my voice?
I can hear you well.
Good. Thank you so much. I want to share my screen. Maybe give me a while. I share my screen so that we can be on the same page with what I want to make a presentation about. But I want to start by saying that this session is not about we, but about I. So as you listen in, listen it as a conversation between you and your finances and how you interact with your money as a person. It is true that we are putting together as a circle, and Nyati Sacco is one of the good performing circles within our country, are well governed with stable governance structure, good running products, accessibility by customers, and therefore this is a financial institution that is sound, a financial institution that is stable, and a financial institution that you can build your wealth using, and that's why we are in this conversation. So let me share my screen. Where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Yeah, can you see my screen, Bonasio? Hello? Someone to confirm you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Good. So
now we can see it, yes.
We can see the screen now.
Good. Thank you so much. The topic for tonight is personal finance, and making money work for you will be our focus for this evening. As introduced, my name is Kithenji Daniel. I consult for financial markets and credit markets. I teach for the university in finance and investments courses for both undergraduate and postgraduate students. I am a conference trainer and speaker for the last 12 years, both locally and in the region. The most important thing is the transformation that has happened in various organizations that we've interacted with. I sit in the Council of the Institute of Credit Managers of Kenya, and in the ICIFA, that is Institute of Chartered Financial Analysts. I sit in the Council Research and Education. I am an higher road trainer, which means I develop businesses, mentor business people. I've got some few clients within Kajiado, Nairobi County, Kiambu County, Embu County that I have mentored. I'm proud that I mentored a particular salon that was based in Mavoko at the river, that is in Machakos County. When a client had been given a loan of 150,000, they ended up misusing, diverting money like anyone who is listening me, and at some point in their borrowing history, they diverted their funds, and the salon and stalled. Today, as we speak, that particular entrepreneur got out of his deathbed of financially. Today, he owns 3 salons. These are located in Syokimau and Murorongo. I have a Bonda person who does auto spares, who I have mentored in Kiserian. They have a history, people in construction, etc. So that's what it means to be an higher road trainer, to develop businesses. What are we here for? We are not here for a lecture per se. So this is a conversation, as your Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Bett, and Madam Henry, your manager, said. This is a conversation. By the end of this conversation, you as a person, you should be able to tell what is your income dependent upon. You as an individual SACCO member, you must be able, number 2, to tell what would happen if where your income depends on shuts down. Have you ever asked yourself, if the inlet that is bringing money to your life was to shut right now, if you are to be told, pack your bag from where you are working, go home, do you have any other source that would sustain you? How stable are those other sources? Okay. Number 3, we will be interrogating and asking ourselves a personal question. Remember, personal finance is personal. Therefore, I will not bulldoze you into any action. I only shed right according to Hosea 4:6. So number 3 is, where do you make your money from? Simply, which asset classes fills your income basket? I want everyone listening to me to figure it out. Probably okay, someone is taking us to the mosque.
Even your presentation has now disappeared. Can we return it back? The PowerPoint?
Can you see my PowerPoint?
No. I hope somebody ever hacked your system.
Is it visible now? Can you see?
Correct.
Good. So the question number 3 we are to ask ourselves, dear colleagues, is... Okay, let me continue. I kindly implore the members we could mute. Thank you so much. So the question number 3 is, where do you make your money from? And I want each one of us listening to me this evening, assume in front of you right now is an empty basket. Assume...
Anthony, mute.
Assume each one of you, assume where you are sitting right now, in front of you is an empty basket. Then, ask yourself, the basket that is in front of you right now, yeah, so I said, ladies and gentlemen, figure out that in front of you right now as we speak, there is a basket. Then that basket is empty. And that basket has got inlets coming into it, yani iko na mifereji inaingia ndani yake. Katika kikapu hicho unakiona mbele yako, ni mifereji ngapi ya fedha inaingia kwa hicho kikapu ambayo ni wewe umei generate? To some of us, their basket is receiving salary income. To others, it is receiving salary income, rental income. To others, it is receiving business income plus salary income, dividend income from Nyati Sacco, etc. So the then question is, how many asset classes? At this point, allow me to speak as a chartered financial analyst and say, if you are dependent on one source of income, anytime you are at a junction where there are traffic lights, you should know your life is bringing rent. If you are dependent on one source of income, anytime you are at a junction, unaona traffic lights, ile inamulika red, you should know you are on the red alert in your life. You should never, ever depend on one source of income. someone needs to control from your hand, probably. I hope, CEO, we've not lost the screen again.
We have lost the screen. I think there's somebody who's trying to hack the system.
How?
Because the PowerPoint is no longer there now. It's gone.
It is there, but it is down there. It is down.
Where?
Bring it here at Daniel, with Daniel. It's at with Daniel. Yeah, it has disappeared now.
It has disappeared, yes.
Yeah, no, not disappeared.
Okay. Let's hope you can now see it.
No, you cannot see it.
And now?
Not yet.
It's coming up, Daniel, yes.
Now, okay.
Yes, it's coming up.
Now we can see it. Yes.
So my last point was,
Yes.
don't depend on one source of income. Number 4, you must ask yourself, which tangible and intangible assets do you own? And how much are they earning you? What we talk of tangible asset, ni ile kitu unaweza kuguza. Kwa mfano, kama wewe una own gari lile una own, is it personal? Kama it's a productive vehicle, meaning productive vehicle, it is bringing money to your bank account in Nyati Sacco. If you have a land, have you developed it so that it is bringing you rental income which you should bank at Nyati Sacco? Intangible asset is, all of you who are employed and listening to me, you are selling to your employer skills and knowledge and your abilities which cannot be touched. That's why we call them intangible. Those skills that you are selling are what are earning you the X amount you are receiving. So if you are earning 40,000, then know the skills you are selling your employer are equal to that. If you are earning 100, the same. If you are earning whichever amount, you are selling intangible asset. You must ask, how can you make it better? At this point, remember, I am not a mean consultant. You need the TV in your house. You need the personal car you are driving. You need that good sofa set. But remember, those are dead assets. They are not earning you anything. They are prestige. Do you need them? Yes. I'm not against them. But it is wrong for you to buy them on loan. Number 5, what's the impact of inflation on your income sources? All of us in Kenya and globally, by the way, are affected by number 5. This is affecting the CEO of the company you are working for. It's also affecting the manager who you report to. It's affecting virtually everybody. Inflationary pressure. What is the antidote to inflation? It is not you cutting expenses per se. That's just a reactionary perspective. You must be proactive in creating alternative sources of incomes that can keep you afloat when inflationary pressures arise. Number 6, what is your inflation adjusted rate of return for each your sources of income? For example, the Chief Executive Officer of Nyati Sacco, Dr. Julius, has said, Finance Act, NHIF revised rates, NSSF revised rates, statutory deduction that have come with NHIF Act, Finance Act, etc. They are affecting. Yeah. So then the last point is number 8. The importance of this conversation this evening is how to create money, how to maintain that money, and how will you preserve the money and pass it on through to your generation by taking advantage of short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals which can be financed by Nyati Sacco. So going forward, I would like to invite us to the chat box. And please, if you can see the question, go to the chat box. Who is responsible for your financial wellness? Let me see people in the chat box. Who is responsible for your financial wellness? Let's go to the chat box. I have pulled down the screen so that you go to the chat box. Who is responsible for your financial freedom? Caleb Omondi says myself. I believe, Caleb, you mean yourself, not me. On a writer note. Yeah, Muema says himself. Faustine says himself or herself. Wycliffe Zadok says, hi, Aaron. Yeah. Immaculate says herself, etc. Exactly. So when we talk of financial responsibility, it's important for us also to ask ourselves that it is only you as an individual that is responsible for your financial choices. Meaning, the outcome of the choices and actions you take with your finances don't affect, first of all, they affect you as a person. They affect you today, they affect you tomorrow, either positively or negatively. Good when they affect you positively. How do they affect you positively? If you pick a loan from Nyati Sacco and you put that loan in income generating asset, then you have impacted your life positively. If you pick a loan from Nyati Sacco and you make a financial choice of investing in consumer items or consumables, then you affect yourself negatively. Okay? So, the following, I wish to submit to all of us the following things on a very quickly. The following people are not responsible for your financial well-being. I know there could be somebody listening to me right now, or those who shall listen to this recording later, they tend to blame other people for their financial well-being. I wish to submit to us, government is not responsible for your financial freedom. Number two, your employer is not responsible for your financial freedom. Number three, your clergy, whether it's your pastor, imam, bishop, monk, elders, they are not responsible. Your family members are not responsible for your financial freedom. So please never give excuse that the reason you are not honoring your finances well is because you support your sister who was married in that other location, or you support your dad and mom, or you support, or you are educating your brother. Remember, after educating your brother, you are responsible for yourself. After you educate your sister, you are responsible for yourself. After you take care of your relatives, you are responsible for yourself. So please don't blame them. It is you who should have a balance. And both God and yourself expect you that to do that. Your relatives are not. Your friends are not. So even when you party with your friends and you have exhausted the loan you took from Nyati Sacco, or you have taken the business profits or the salary, remember, when you please your friends and things get into a soup, they are not there. By the way, your friends' children could be in school, but yours are at home. Your friend right now could be eating 5-course meal, and probably you are eating an average of what you can afford. Okay, so your friends are not to blame. It is you to choose the right company that helps you to grow your finances. Even you can't blame Rotary, SportPesa, Betika, Shabiki. These people will never grow you rich. It's pure speculation. It's gambling. You would rather pick a loan and start fruit vending, uchukue loan uanzishe kuuza matunda ambayo unajua ni watermelon 5 umenunua, zimekatakatwa pieces 10 kila watermelon. Hizo ni watermelon 5 zimekatwa piece 10, ni watermelon 50, kila moja unauza 20 bob. Kama si wewe unauza, umetafuta kijana on commission anauza, rather than you kuchukua karatasi ndogo hivi na maandishi mandogo ndio umaachishe sijui winning. Rotary can never make you rich. Please, also our background. I know there are those of us who blames where they were born. I come from humble background. Nothing which is humble. Poverty is not humbleness. I could be speaking to some who are like me, who came from that background. But it is you who makes a choice. You make a choice to overcome those money wounds. When sometimes in future, maybe we shall talk about money wounds. Maybe Henry can note that. We can take money wounds in future sessions. Okay? How money wounds affect us. Because all of us who are listening to me have got money wounds. Yeah? And that's why some of us, our purchasing behavior today is informed by money wounds. You may find you overdo doing clothes because wakati ulikuwa mtoto hukuwa na uwezo ya kununuliwa. Unanunuanga viatu 2-3 kila mwezi. Maana ukiwa mdogo ulitembea mguu tupu. Money wound. Yeah? Hukusomeshwa vizuri. Yeah? Your father and mother struggled. Money wounds, etc. So the question is, our current financial times are like this. Cost of living is high. Deductions which are coming by Finance Act are increasing. What do? That means our pay slip is squeezed. Yeah. So, for example, the pay slip that you can see on the screen, previously somebody who was earning a net pay of 22, it might be by NHIF that will go hand in hand. To some, it may reduce. Yeah. But NSSF, remember the tiers, that has to be there, housing levy, etc. So this both shrinks your take home as per Ribarol. There is something I know every member of the SACCO always has a fight with the people in the loans department. A third rule. Please, if you have got somewhere to write, you can write Section 19, subsection 3 of Employment Act of 2007. Section 19, subsection 3 of Employment Act of 2007. Every employer is bound by that law to ensure that you remain with a third of your pay as a take home. The remaining 2/3 is where you can get SACCO savings from, pay the loans in your SACCO. So please, honorable members, I have been a member in a SACCO for the last 20 years. And I am a member in a SACCO where my grandfather was a member and my mother and father are. Therefore, you should be loyal to Nyati SACCO. Okay? But this one that, please never fight about it. It is a requirement of the regulator, Ribaros, who is the Riba commissioner. He is supposed to enforce that. So your company must ensure you take a than. Even your SACCO must ensure you do that. So what is the current antidote to financial times? Some professionals will tell you that you need to, during recession, and when there is increase in statutory deduction, they tell you the solution is you can cut your spending. Yes, but that is temporary. What you need is what I have indicated in rent. What you need is what I have indicated in rent. What you need is multiple streams of income. And these streams of income should not, hazipaswi kutoka kwa assets that are correlated. For example, you must have income from your salary. Thank God you have a job. And please never ever lament. Ukumbuke Mungu aliua Waisraeli jangwani sababu ya kupiga kunungunika. Never grumble about your job. Please don't complain about your job. Be grateful to God. That's the starting point. Okay? Personally, when I left university as a university, my first job 23 years ago was 17,000. I used to work 15 hours overnight pare JKIA. And I never complained because I earned an undergraduate and a CPA. No. I was grateful I started there. That's not where you are. I am today. What I want to mean is never give excuse of the size of your income today. Build from it. So have salary. Number 2, make sure you have some business income flowing to you. If you gradually build rental income, if you can, gradually build dividend income from Nyati Sacco, interest on deposit, by making sure that you save more in Nyati Sacco. So that's the only way you can grow. As we proceed with this, I know there are those that are hearing this for so many times. You have been taken through personal finance for a long time. Humility is the first step for you to run. You cannot run until you are humble to realize there is something for you to run. And I'm trusting God, by the time we end, you will have picked something. So why is the topic important? Because of this investor life cycle. I want to request you to go into the chat box. Go to the chat box. If you see this investor life cycle, from the left-hand side of your screen, kuna katoto, kanavaa kaptura ya rent, kanaenda juniors, gone what? Kindergarten, primary. You graduate from college or whichever, then you get employed. Most of us ni bwana mkubwa, uko hapo kwa brew. But I want to ask you, where you are working, have you seen a 8-year-old who is working there? Please go to your chat box. Where you are working currently, have you seen any 8-year-old person working there? Say for the directors of that company you are working for. Have you seen anybody who is 75 working there? Yeah. That tells you there is a day you will also be 80 years old, 90, 70, 65, and you will need to sustain yourself. That's why you must take it upon yourself to ensure that when the day salary stops, currently NHIF deductions unadidactiwa, they will not sustain you when you retire. If today your employer is giving you a medical card, the day you retire, you will never see that medical card again. Siku ile utaretire, hakuna overtime. That's why we must check ourselves and say, we make expensive mistakes with money because we lack knowledge. We must ask ourselves, what knowledge do you have? What is in the blueprint of your mind concerning what is an asset? What is in the blueprint? Unajua kila nyumba inajengangwa na ramani. Sisi zote tunajua hiyo. Hakuna nyumba ujengwa bila inaitangwa aje blueprint or master plan. If in the background of your mind you have knowledge of, there is a day you will not be having the strength uko nayo. Unajua kuna siku utakuwa unaamuka, ukijinyoosha unakaa kama uko kapendo. Vile mikono inakunjuka, unasikia koko, ni kama uko kapendo. Hiyo si wakati ya kuanzia kufanya side hustle. Usingoje wakati ambapo mtoto yako anaingia university ndio unataka kuanzisha biashara. Start now by asking, do you have the right knowledge? That's why I want to encourage you, honorable members. Please, whenever your circle calls you for an education that is supposed to impact you, be there with your heart, your soul, and your strength. Remember number 2, wealth creation is a long-term exercise. If you were intending to have 5 Uber doing business in Nairobi, Kisumu, Mombasa, Eldoret, you will have to start with 1 Uber. So you will walk to Nyati Sacco, pick a loan, buy that 1 Uber. Halafu uifungulia account hapo tu Nyati Sacco. ya kwamba dereva wa hiyo Uber pesa inalipwa ikiingia kwa akaunti ya hiyo Uber hapo Nyati Sacco. Ikiaccumulate, umemaliza hako karon, unarudi tena unaambia credit manager hapo niongezee loan nyingine, unanunua Uber ya pili. Hizo Uber mbili una bank pesa yake yote hapo ndani Nyati Sacco, unanunua ya tatu. That's what I'm calling wrong term exercise. Unaanzia na hoteli kidogo, ina graduate. Unaanzia na salon ile ya kuweka unaanzia na salon ambaye iko tu na nini tunaweza itaje, iko na kiti moja ya kunyoa ama ya kusuka nywele, then you grow it. You don't expect to start big, start small. When I started earning, the first thing I did, Bwana Dr. Bet, was to go and pick a deduction form. I started saving from my first salary, which was small. I did not start by buying a flat screen. Wakati wetu ilikuanga ile TV ya cathode ray tube. Ile ilikuanga na mugongo. Sikuanza na hiyo. But now I know that's where you are. So what I mean is wrong-term exercise. So if, for example, you want to climb the ladder in your job, are you acquiring skills that will make you be noticed by employer for promotion if there is opportunity? Ama we utakuwa tu unakaa ukisema wengine wanapromotiwa yeah. I remember this gentleman who was a security officer in one of the companies, and he was a guard. This guy studied akiwa na struggle. He graduated with his degree in criminology from Kenyatta University. Today the guy is a security manager in one of the corporates. How? Because he had to choose to pay the price of taking the wrongest route. Imagine alianzia diploma akafanya degree, right? It took him wrong, but he is there. The question I want you to ask, and go to the chat box, please. How long would your asset fund your lifestyle without your salaried job? Yeah. If you didn't have the salary, how would you fund your lifestyle? Yeah. You need all these things I've displayed there. So Mwalimu is not against them, please. So you need your good vehicle. Unahitaji kwenda holiday. Saa hii ni wakati tunaelekea msimu ya Christmas. You need good furnitures. Hata Hoover unahitaji kwa hiyo nyumba, kagari, lakini haina shinda. But you start with these ones. Unaona hizi? Anza kwa vitega uchumi. I have a customer who is a member in one circle which I will not mention, but he works as a clerical officer in one of the government offices. A clerical officer si mtu ana mshahara kubwa, lakini ananunuanga vitunguu Roytoktok na huko Kimana zinatumwa na Naikena, anachukua pale Jack and Jill ama OTC. Kazi yake usiku ni kuzipack ndogo ndogo. Anafika ofisini kwao saa 12 ikiwa imebaki dakika 15. Akienda nyumbani huenda na Hondas and he sells. Na kazi yake itakuwa interfered. Start that kinyozi. You could be working where you are working, whether you are night shift right now or day shift, that's what you work. You can do a milk bar. You don't need to be farm, you don't need cows. Uhitaji kuwa ati wewe uko na ng'ombe ili uuze maziwa. You need capital from Nyati Sacco and do that. Yeah. You can do this fresh juice. I've got a customer who is in Naivasha. This person, she gets miwa kutoka Kisii, anapata miwa kutoka Kisii, anatafuta matunda nini, anakuja na ile pineapple mzuri inatoka hizo zone, ana squeeze juice. Kazi yake ni kuuza juice, making good money. One of the guys, for those of you who are within Nairobi, Ukienda pale karibu Ronangara opposite mahali matatu za Githurai mabasi ubeba, kuna hao vijana wanauza uji power hapo. One of them was my entrepreneur. I can bet you that young man makes sales of more than 20,000 per day sales. So you can guess, because hapo watu wanapitia anawekewa uji akienda ofisi. That's what I mean. You may not do what I have displayed here, but there are so many others. That's the solution you need. Okay? How do you do it? If you are 25 years and below, I know sometimes you may make an excuse. I am too young to think of pension or even saving. Those who are 35 years and are hearing me, they will say, I will think of pension or keeping my money better when I'm 35. Ukigonga 55 unaanza kusema I should have. Ukigonga 75 ujue utakuwa job, unaanza kusema I wish. Please never allow yourself to be in a situation whereby you say I wish I started. Let that I wish end today and action start. Okay? Now, for you to do that, you analyze your current financial position, you know how you are behaving with money. By the way, on number one, if you are listening to me and whenever you receive an alert message of your salary has been credited, you turn broke immediately. You need to do something with your life. If you are listening to me this evening, and whenever an alert for salary payment comes, unasikia kwa message, ting, ting, your salary has been credited in the first account. If you receive a salary payment notification, na unaanza kufikiria emergency loan, advance, M-Shwari, Fuliza, ama inaitangwa Fuliza, sit down and say, it can't be okay. You must do something. That's why Nyati Sacco is there to handle you. What's your relationship with your money? Are you that person whenever he has money, that's when he has got a bright face? Ni kama inamuuma na lazima you must out, you must club, you must party. You don't think of buying an asset first. When you pick a loan from Sacco, do you feel the hype to create stream of income or not? Number 3, what is your plan for your life? Number 4, when you pick debt, do you take your debts in creating assets? Ama kazi yako ni kununua TV ya loan, kiti ya loan, mukeka ya loan, kufua Wish ama Vox ili ukaone in-laws? No. Pick a loan and invest that loan. If you can't do it alone, do it as a team. Yeah, do it as a team. I'm proud to have interacted with SACCOs in 46 counties in this country. 46 counties in this country, big and small. And I've seen even people who are working in Kariobangi zone, people working in the Astro area, people who are owning plots in Kamuru, but they work as casuals. The only thing they have to do is get debt, don't use it for luxury. They use it for asset creation. Savings. Save. You don't have to be compelled, by the way. If there is something I encourage members of SACCOs, please don't agree that SACCO yako lazima ikumassage, ikupembeleze ili you save. Saving is for your personal benefit. It's not for the benefit of the CEO, chairman of the SACCO, the delegate. No, that money will only benefit you as the member. Investments. There are small investments you can do in agricultural sector. You can do in technology. You can do in clothing and textiles, etc. There is this time I trained at Sacco Mimbia without the name. They are based at the airport. So some of the guys who are working there kufanya roading kwa ndege nini, wengine ni managers, supervisors and all that. So it is mixed. Iko na wale ambao wanafanya different cadres. So then one of the guys in one of the cadre walikuanga wanapata long holiday ya siku kama 2 ama 3. Huyu kijana alidesign kwenda Gikosh, akaanzia kununua matroza za kak, anaziuza pale Mutindwa. Right now akona outlet 2, hiyo ya Mutindwa na ya Ngara. But he started small by reasoning. Yeah? By reasoning. One of them said he will, because he used to come from Kiambu to come to work in the airport hapa JKIA. He chose that atachukua loan kwa sako yake, anakuwa na watu wa kumuokotea maziwa hiyo zone ya huko kwao. Hiyo maziwa anahakikisha anakuja nayo saa 11:30, saa 11 hako Nairobi town, ana distribute kwa mahoteli fulani, alafu anachukua gari ya City Hopper, then saa hii nafikiri ni City Shuttles and the rest, anachukua City Shuttle kitu 6:45 ili akuwe airport by 8, lakini ashamaliza kudistribute maziwa. What do I mean? There are so many investments. You could be also having money you can invest in treasury bonds, ama treasury bills. You can put money there. Yeah, you can put your money in real estate. Lakini usinunue plot bora ikae hapo. That's why you find there are people ananunuanga plot, siku ile analitaya anauza moja akiwa 62 years, ingine akiwa 65, ingine akiwa 68 years, anabaki mtu kama hakuanga na any asset. Buy plot and develop them. If you can't do as an individual, do it as a group. Okay? Now, why should you invest? Let all of us put our mics on and read that statement. Please, let's put our mics on, read that statement. 1, 2, go.
I can't be okay without getting paid 12 times in 365 days. I just can't.
Repeat again.
I can't be okay without getting paid 12 times in 365 days. I can't be okay with getting paid 12 times in 365 days. I just can't.
Now we can put our mics off. Our mics off. How many days has God given each one of?
Ni nani?
Daniel, I think your mic is off. Daniel,
You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
I'm saying,
Yeah, you can be heard.
good. If you can hear me, that's okay. I'm saying that ukienda Nyati Sacco uchukue statement yako, pesa inaingianga account yako mara ngapi? If you receive money after every 13 days, kama mwezi huu, si mshahara inakuja next week, 1 day. It is not okay. You must say it's not okay. You are not born to just go to work, pay bills and die. You can't be working for Governor Sakaja ati wewe ni wa kulipa maji, kulipa stima, kulipa school fees, kununua chakula, kumaanisha wale wakulima wewe ndio unawasustain, kulipa fare ya gari ili uende job, alafu hukuna kitu uko nayo. It can't be okay. You must always say, I will not work on it to pay bills. But this is the truth. Let me tell you a secret this evening. If your salary is your only source of income, you are one step away from poverty. If your salary is your only source of income, you are one step away from poverty. So what must we then do? What must we do? We must choose to use Nyati Sacco financing, because unachukua loan kutoka kwa sacco. Invest that money. Unajua when I'm training, I normally encourage participants. Ukikuja na sacco, uchukue loan ya shilingi 1,500. Alafu, maybe you can write that down. 1st January 2023. 1st January 2023. You pick a loan of 500,000 from Nyati Sacco. Then, hiyo loan unailipia miaka 2, which means ama miaka 3, 36 months. Kumaanisha 2023, 2024, 2025. You will pay back the 500,000 plus interest kwa Nyati Sacco. Ikianzia mwaka wa 2026, will you be worth more than 500,000 ile umeokota Nyati Sacco plus interest ulilipa kwa hiyo loan Nyati Sacco, which is your sacco. Nyati Sacco is you. It is you. Nyati Sacco is you. So Nyati Sacco haiko huko kando na wewe huko. Nyati Sacco is you and you is Nyati Sacco. So please don't think you are two entities, you are one. So on 2026, you should be worthy after 3 years. Ukichukua loan ya 500,000, pay it in 3 years. On the 4th year ikianza, unapaswa kuwa 500,000 plus interest you paid for 3 years plus profit you have accumulated for those 3 years. If that's not the situation, question your borrowing behavior. Please question your borrowing behavior. Let me answer the question of somebody who is asking, na sasa mwalimu ukisema hivyo school fees loan tunaiweka wapi? You can't be a member who always is speaking school fees loan peke yake. This is the rule of thumb. In every 100 shillings you have borrowed, please write this down because it is not in the shrines. In every 100 shillings you borrow, 70 shillings and more, mark the word, 70 shillings and more should go into earning assets. And 130 shillings and below should go into non-earning assets if need be. Kwa hivyo, you must balance your personal debts. Balance your personal debts. Balance your personal debts. Why am I saying every 100 shillings, 70 plus should go into investment? Earning asset ni ile rasilimali inaleta pesa kwa mfuko yako. That's what we call earning assets. E-A-R-N-I-N-G. An earning asset ni chochote unaita asset na akireti pesa kwa mfuko ama kwa bank account yako ya Nyati Sacco. So the 30 ndio unaweka salary, ndio unaweka pesa ya emergency. Okay? And please don't make everything an emergency. Going to see in Rose is not an emergency. Going for matanga is not an emergency. Wedding is not an emergency. Yeah? Even to some instances, don't make food an emergency. By the way, let me surprise your people, Bwana CEO. Let me surprise your people, Bwana CEO.
Yes.
School
Listening.
fees is not an emergency. I know many will hate me for that, but school fees is not an emergency. Why? Next week Tuesday watoto watafunga shule. Wengine walikuja Thursday last week. Na watarudi shule tarehe 10 mwezi wa Januari. How come January 10 ndio itakuwa emergency? No. Within these 60 days wako hapa. What can you do so that ikifika January 10th mahali Nyati Sacco inakusupplement ni mahali kidogo? Because that's why the Sacco is there. So please make money by creating alternative sources. Use those money to make more money. That's why nilisema ukinunua Uber moja, you start making money. Ifungulie account Nyati Sacco. Pesa yote inaokotwa inaingia Nyati Sacco. Ukuje tena Nyati Sacco number 2 hapo inasema use that money to make more money. Hambia Nyati Sacco ikununulie Uber ya pili, ama ikujengee ghorofa ya pili, ama ikununulie mashini ya pili ya kusiaga unga ukipack. Number 3, you repeat the process. Okay? Remember, money speaks only one language. Money speaks only one language. If you save me today, I will save you tomorrow. That's why you need to consistently save kwa Nyati Sacco. Huwezi kuwa member wanaingia kwa Sacco miezi 5, mwaka 2 unachomoka, unaenda kwa Shyrock, unaenda kwa Money Changers, sijui unaenda kwa Platinum, Progressive. By the way, I'm sorry to say that you will not progress because you went to Progressive. Watakuchange 4.5% per month, which is 54% per annum. Utaraumu serikali, uraumu kila mtu, lakini wanakunyanyasa. Stay in Nyati Sacco. Wachana na loans za Hapsa, wachana na loans za KCB. I don't fear these brands. I tell the truth. Wachana na Shyrock. The quickest way for you to be financially crippled. Ukiona umeanza kuchukua loan ya Fuliza ili ulipe KCB M-Pesa, kuna shinda. Ukiona umechukua loan ya Timiza ili ulipe loan ya Branch, kuna shinda. You sit down and stop. What must you do? What must you do? You need determination, sacrifice, commitment, be goal-oriented. Yeah? These are the income nilisema. Unaona hii mifereji? Tulisema kila mtu ahakikishe kikapu yake inaingia hivi. Hii mfereji ya rent ya kara ya rent, hii nyekundu. Hii ni salary. Kwa nini salary iko nyekundu? Because it can go away anytime. Anytime. By the way, I repeat, and I am not a sadist, is that you can't only rely on salary. You must have another stream ambayo iko green hapo. Invest kwa share capital ya Nyati Sacco. Kama saa hii Sacco yenu inataka kujenga, by the way, sio mlianzia kujenga Plaza?
It will be ready in another 1 month. It's done.
So kwa hivyo members wananunua shares za Plaza ili wapate dividends. Unaona?
Yeah, it will increase their dividends.
Yeah, so kama wewe ni member unanisikiza, unanunua shares za Plaza. Hizo shares zinakuletea dividend. Unaongeza deposit. And by the way, please honorable members, don't take saving
isn't so clear.
Please make sure that honorable members, you don't save only from salary. Kama una kuku zako unauzanga, save money ya kuku zile umeuza. Ukiuza mayai, what is the profit? Save part of that profit in Nyati Sacco. Kama uko na bonda bonda, what is the profit of bonda bonda? And you can't measure the success of your bonda bonda business kama hujafungua account ya kuwekanga pesa hizo za bonda bonda. Ikiwa wewe ukilipwa bonda bonda yako unakuranga pesa kwa mfuko kama njugu, hutawahi songa. Because ukilipwa na customer ndio unanunua nayo chakula ya kwenda nyumbani. Kwanza iweke kwa account so that you track. Utaniuliza sasa mwalimu, na kama ndio niko naye ya kusupplement income, build a discipline or first of all, by the way, let me ask you, now that wewe unakuanga na ukiitishwa mafuta ya kupika njioni unatoa kwa hiyo shelf ya nduka yako unaenda nayo, employer yako anakulipanga daily? Hapana, mshahara inakujanga after 30 days, na ukiitaka in advance unakatwa interest. That's the disciplines you need in your business. Then passive income by those shares. Yeah, you can make money from all these sources. Number one, hand income from your pay, salary, profit by having an active trading. You could be having a dry cleaner hapo kwa estate yako, hata kwa nyumba yako, by the way. Yeah, you could be doing shaving, uko na kakinyozi, uko na, yeah, I mean, there are so many income sources from investment by buying shares of Praza Yenu, dividends, etc. So even rental income for those who can construct, and everybody can, only that it may take time. If your income is small or if your income is medium term, you can do it. Yeah, capital gain. Yeah, by hiyo shamba yako ina appreciate, lakini usiende kununua shamba kama hujafanyia due diligence. Unajua ndugu yangu, ukiwa kwa mfano kuna memba yenu, for mfano, I'm just giving example. Ikiwa kuna memba yenu alikuwa amechukua loan Nyati Sacco akanunua plot bush za Portland. See, what will happen is he must pay the loan. The fact that amebomolewa nyumba imaanishi asilipe loan. That's why you must, that should teach you to do due diligence. Don't just go buying. Wengine wenu ni digital income. And that's what the Kenyan president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, is encouraging. Digital income. Some may think, by the way, what CSO Herod Owaro is doing is unfounded. Can I surprise your team, CEO? If you have any members ambao wanawaka pale EPZ Kitengera. Ni Kitengera ama ni Athi River? Kitengera.
Ni Kitengela, yeah.
There is a certain Filipino anatoka Philippines, hapo EPZ amechukua go down, anaajiri vijana 300 na wako na shift. Kazi yao ni kufanya online firing na online jobs. And he is paying those young men 25,000 minimum per month. But he is generating digital income. Don't think digital income is writing papers for students or not. No. There are companies inataka watu wa kutranslate. Which means if you are listening to me and you have got French speaking skills, German speaking skills, Spanish, etc., etc. And even if you don't have, if you have interest, you can take them. They do those digital jobs and they are earning good money, or even content creation. Bwana CEO, I have got a customer who is in Nakuru, and this customer, permit me, I know I'm speaking to the people who are in the employment sector, but I have got a customer who is doing bonda bonda in Nakuru, but he is an ambassador of NTSA for safe driving. How did he start? The young man niliwaambia unaenda una record clips. Video clip. Unasema this is how to drive safely as a bonda bonda, unavaa helmet nini. Hivyo ndivyo alianzia. Ana digital income. Majority of you are security people in the security sector. You are people in security sector. Have you ever come up with an application or even a video clip educating people on how to secure their homes? The more people down road, the more you earn. So see it as an opportunity. Health sector, etc. Education, blah, blah, blah. So I skip this, but I know now, Bwana CEO, this is where things go wrong. Because our education sector, inafanyanga, you know the problem we have, the difference between African and Indians. It is how we are theorized. An Haitian is brought up thinking like an entrepreneur. An African is brought up thinking to go to school to get a job. That's why you find even in our school system, honorable colleagues who are listening to me, ukienda mashule zetu, kama ni watoto wale wako huko chini, sijui inaitangwa PP1 or what, wanafundishwa, wakifundishwa ABCD, wanaambiwa A for apple. A for apple. Kwa nini hawaambiangwi A for asset? Alafu wakiuliza asset ni nini, wanaambiwa an asset is like a business. Ukiweka kuku, that's a business, so it's an asset. Ukienda ununue truck ya kuuza maji, that's an asset. If you do content creation, that's an asset. And by the way, you tend to think hawajuangi. Kila moja wetu ananisikiza, you are programmed when you are 7 years and below. And whatever you are today was meant when you are 7 years and below. So please don't think that because you didn't go to this level of education, you can't do it. That is the wrong. Don't agree to John D. funnel ile ya kusieve out ati maana ukusoma sana uwezi han. Ni uongo. You can do something. You only need to attack your mind. Start by saving. You know the quickest way to attack mind is, for example, personally. Personally, me speaking to you, dear colleagues. I don't go to the supermarket with my children if there is no written down budget. Tunaketi na wao, tunaandika budget. Na tukienda supermarket, chochote akiwa kimeandikwa, hakuna kuchukua. That's how you instill budgeting discipline. Sometimes this is what I do. I go to our sacco, kwa account ya junior, ninaweka pesa, ninawaletea receipt. Bandara ya kuja na sweet. So wakiuliza, hey dad, what have you brought? Ninaleta receipt. Inaonyesha ni 2,000. Hey, what is this, dad? This is saving. So now they know what is a saving and why you should save. Don't expect to teach them. But you know, majority of us, they started understanding these things when they were past school. That's why you even now struggle. You know, even how you are struggling to save the minimum. Unangangana na staff wa sako, unangangana. No, teach them savings. That's why Muhindi anakujanga hapa Kenya. After 3, 4, 5 years, unakuta anaemploy Kithenji, Njoroge, Mutesia na Kamau. Lakini alitoka Mumbai, alitoka Mbombe ama New Delhi akiwa maskini. Amekuja hapa anaanza kuchukua vitu hivi. What you need to do is think as an entrepreneur. Please remember this, colleagues. Seek wealth, not status. The problem we have is seeking wealth, seeking status. Wealth is having assets that pay you while you are asleep, like real estate or businesses, whichever type of business. But if you chase status, it will leave you broke and unfulfilled. If you want to please relatives, friends, family, colleagues at work by getting fancy things, even when you know your salary is the only income you have, things will not work. For those of us who come from Busia or come from Kisumu Central or Kisumu South or Kisii, let's take those who come from Busia because wanapitia hapo Kisumu Town. Ukipita Kisumu Town kuna mto inaingianga hapo kwa Lake Victoria inaitwa River Hawasi. Ukivuka upande ile ya juu ukiwa karibu na Maseno kuna mto inaingia hapo inaitwa Yara. Ukienda kabisa kuna mto ingine utakuta inaitwa Nzoia River. Hiyo mito mahali inaanzianga. Kama wewe unatoka hii area ya hapa Nyamira ama nini ama Sondu. Hapo chini kuna mto kubwa ya Sondu. mahali pana generate electricity. Hapo hiyo mto ukikuja huku juu Nandi Hills inaanzianga ikiwa kubwa? Hapana, inakuwa mito kidogo kidogo. Please build streams of income that can attack your expenses. Let those streams make a big river of income to your basket. But don't depend on a stream. A stream can dry immediately the rain stop. And the rain here for you is your employment. If you are on leave, will you receive overtime? No, which means the stream of overtime is dead when you are on leave. You can only earn overtime if you worked. That's the perfect example. That means have several streams. Being rich is having pile of money. You need, being wealthy is having cash producing assets. A bonda that is earning, a kinyozi that is earning, milk vending, wewe uko na butchery mahali, hama unanunuanga ng'ombe unafaten, hama wewe unauzia maziwa, unauza nguo, uko na shares za praza yenu ya Nyati Sacco, deposits ziko mingi kwa Nyati Sacco. All those are cash producing assets. Okay? I think I need to leave this education, blah, 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 and all that. Now, these are stages of wealth. All of us start with being in debt. We move hand to mouth. We have some savings. Even we can have 3 months expense cover, investment. Then we have passive income. One thing I want to encourage you is pay yourself first. Put money in your Sacco. Avoid high interest debts like Shyrox and etc. Buy assets. Don't buy liabilities. Yeah. Make sure that you use the principle of Genesis 41:34, which is invest 20% of your income. Genesis 41:34. It is very clear, a fifth. Okay? And budgeting rule. Now, as we sum up that bit, and then I talk a little bit about the loans and guarantors, then we receive questions. These are the 3 rules you need to operate with. If you need financial freedom, have the right mindset. The right mindset. You know, right mindset start by asking, do you know what is an asset? And you choose to start there. The right mindset is telling yourself it is possible despite your background, your income level, your social status, the job you are in currently, or the level you are in that job. Right mindset. Na usiwahi jikondem ati unajua mimi ni vile sijawahi promotiwa kutoka supervisor kuwa manager ama manager kuwa director ama kutoka hii level kwenda hii. No. Have the right mindset. The right mindset that you have to be patient to see your income grow. Then seek knowledge, and that's what we are getting here today. Then practice. Yeah? And you practice by building assets through your savings in Nyati Sacco. The assets here should be cash flowing. Cash flowing assets is assets that are bringing money to your bank account at Nyati Sacco. Non-cash flowing assets ni vitu kama simu, kama uitumii kufanya online jobs, laptop yako kama uitumii kugenerate income for yourself, that's a non-cash flowing asset. Your TV is a non-cash flowing asset. But kama TV yako ni smart TV, you can use it to teach like, and you earn some money. Yeah? Etc. So you build those assets. So what is a good asset? It's an asset that is putting money in your pocket. That's what we call an asset. And please don't be lied by anybody else. Anything that is not bringing you income, it's a liability. That's why I normally tell people who even are almost retiring, ukumbuke hiyo nyumba umejenga ni vizuri sana. You are way ahead. But ukiritaya italeta chakula kwa meza. Jenga nyumba, jenga mifereji ya kukuletea pesa ya kukula ukiwa kwa hiyo nyumba, ya kulipa stima, ya kulipa maji ukikaa kwa hiyo nyumba. TV ni vizuri ukuwe na hiyo 54 inch. Hakuna makosa, lakini siku ile utalitaya ukumbuke hiyo TV utakuwa unaiona vile wengine wanaliwa na njaa, pia we ukiwa na njaa. Ni vizuri ukumbuke kuwa nayo ni vizuri, lakini hakikisha una mfereji ya kuleta fedha. Yeah? Yeah. Liability is anything that is taking money from your pocket. Your personal car, your vacation, but you need them. Yeah. I mean, they can be useful for you. So I move quickly to guarantorship because now we pick loans. Who is a guarantor? A guarantor is somebody who agrees to take up liability in case the other person fails to do his part of obligation. Niseme hivi kwa Kiswahili. Nikidhamini Mr. Kamau akichukua loan ama bwana Okumu achukue loan, nikimdhamini, ninaambia Nyati Sacco ya kwamba mimi Kithenji Daniel ninafahamu Njoroge wa Kamau na ninakubali mumpatie hii mkopo ya 1,300. Asipolipa, mimi pamoja na wale tumewekea sahihi naye tutalipa. That's what you are saying in law, kwa sheria. Kwa hivyo usisahau wakati wowote unadhamini mwanachama mwenzako ili apatiwe mkopo kutoka Nyati Sacco, unasema ya kwamba unamfahamu, unajua anachukua pesa ngapi, anaenda kuzitumia wapi, na unajua atazilipa. Lakini in case ashindwe kulipa, wewe ndiye utalipa. That's clear. Number 3, what guarantorship is not? Guarantorship, it is more than friendship. Guarantorship is more than colleagueship. Guarantorship is more than we work with Okumu, we work with Awira, we work with Ouma, we work with Bet, no, it's more than that. The requirement of the law, that is number 4. The provision of the law of contract says, if it is me, Kithenji, who has been guaranteed by Bet and Kamau and Zawadi, nikishindwa kulipa loan yangu, Sacco ya Nyati Sacco itani notify na inotify Bet, Okumu na Zawadi. Ikiwa nimeshindwa kabisa, Sacco itakata Okumu, Bet na Zawadi, hiyo loan imebaki. Na responsibility ya kufuata mimi si ya Nyati Sacco, ni ya Bet, Okumu na Zawadi, because it is not the Sacco that guaranteed me kuchukua loan. Kwa hivyo nikidefault, guarantors wangu ndio wanapaswa kunifuata, na wananifuata kisheria, si kwa mabavu. Hawapasi kuja kwangu na panga, kunifungia njia ya kwangu, kuniandikia threatening message. If you write to your fellow guarantor or person you guarantee fellow message, a message that is attacking them, remember you will face the law. So please, one thing I know, over 12 years I have trained SACCOs, members of SACCOs huwa wanafikiri ukidhamini mtu ashindwe kulipwa ni Sacco inapaswa kumfuata. By the way, let me tell you this today. Even if I, Kithenji Daniel, if I have taken a loan from Nyati, na Bet, Zawadi na Ouma wamenigarantii, nikishindwa kulipa hiyo loan, hata kama ninaonekana hapo South B, si jukumu ya Sacco kunifuata. Okumu, Ouma, Bet na Zawadi ndio walisema wananijua na wakakubali nipewe mkopo. Kwa hivyo Nyati Sacco itadili na hawa watatu. Hata kama wanakuja wakiambia staff niko hapo South B, hati ninaonekana hapo kwa Hazina Estate, mara ninaonekana hapo nikitafuta kazi hapo industrial area, hiyo si responsibility ya Nyati Sacco, ni ya hawa walinigarantii. What then should they do? They should follow with me to ensure I am paying my loans, and in case nimechujwa job, they should ensure I have given a commitment how I will pay my loans. Or this commitment they should agree watanilipia na mimi nikirecover nitawarudishia. And that's what happens. So I think that settles guarantorship. Let's come to borrowing. Whenever you borrow, please remember these three mindsets. These three mindsets. Three mindsets. You may either be having a poor mindset when borrowing, rich mindset, or wealthy mindset. A poor mindset ni hiyo iko mkono ya left. A poor mindset borrows for expenses. Are we together? A poor mindset, they borrow for expenses. For food, for clothes, transport, rent. They borrow for expenses, and in particular, expenses of day-to-day basis. A poor mindset hawezi kuomba pesa ikienda kwa asset. Please don't leave the left hand side. Usiende kwa middle class ama rich. Kaa hapo kwa column. Hizo box mbili ziko chini ya poor. A poor mindset akona income moja tu, salary. Na akikopa, anakopa for expenses. Specifically, rent, food, transport, school fees, bra bra bra. Huyo ndio mtu ni rahisi kuchukua loan ili aende kwa in-laws akiwa ana drive Voxy na hata anakondisha kama mbili ili atishe kila mtu. Lakini ukienda kwa balance sheet yake hana any asset. Middle class. Majority of those who are listening to me ako bracket ya middle class. Wengi. They only rely on salary, and when they borrow for liabilities. You can see that these liabilities, they only hand to their expenses. Kwa hivyo unaanzia hapa kuko na salary, unaona hiyo line inakuja kwa middle class, inakuja anachukua loan ya car loan, school loans, yeah, wedding loan, vacation loans. Unakuta mtu ako kwa beach Mombasa lakini ni pesa ya loan. Ama ako pale Uhuru Park ama Machakos Park. A middle class borrows for liabilities. This liability, you know, for example, and by the way, Bwana CEO, I'm not against your members buying personal cars, but I'm against buying personal cars on loan. Ni makosa uende kwa hapo employer yako. All of you colleagues listening to me, fellow Kenyans listening to me, ni makosa hiwe hauna kitega uchumi kingine, lakini ni salary peke yake, but hiyo salary ndio una payslip, ndio unabebesha car loan. Ni makosa. Ni makosa kuketia loan kwa nyumba yako. Imagine unanunua kiti ya loan, unakalia loan. Unaendesha gari ya loan. Kile unaongeza ni fuel. Utalalamika bei ya mafuta inaenda juu. Itaenda juu because hakuna kitu umeongeza kwa incomes. Yeah. But I'm not against cars. Please start by building other streams of income. Please buy that one touch using other sources of income. You would rather start by having 3 streams of additional income other than your salary, then you buy liabilities. Mortgages. Sasa hizo liabilities inamuleta hapa kwa expenses. Rich mindset. A rich mindset, he borrows for assets. If you wanted to know rich mindset in your circle, Madam Henry, you go to your borrowing book. Watu wote wale wameokota loan na amepeleka hizo loan kwa kununua stocks, bonds, amenunua property inaleta income ama real estate. Those are the rich mindset. Because if you are rich mindset, you will have more than 4 sources of income in your income statement. rental, salary, dividend from Nyati Sacco, interest on deposits from Nyati Sacco, etc. Uko na salon income, boutique income, uko na milk vending income, consultancy kama mimi, unaona? Ama ukikuja kama hapa kwangu, ninauzia watu nyani za saga, ninauzia watu sukuma wiki, ninauzia watu managu, nawauzia kuku, nawauzia bata, ninauza maji, ninalipwa mshahara, ninalipwa nikimaliza kufanya kazi hii leo nitalipwa. Imagine I will be paid immediately I have finished talking here. That's how you should make sure that your incomes are more than one. But you know, for example, when we were starting to agree with my wife, we make our compound to hand for us. You know, our colleagues, they were like, why are you having mumeweka magunia ikiwa kwa compound, mumepanda sijui nini mboga, mbona hapa space mungefanya? But it is generating income, not less than 25,000 by the way, kwa kuuza tu hizi greens. Na hiyo haina pay, na haina NHIF, na haina NSSF. Nikiuza maji, nauza maji ya Mungu. Kukinyesha, ninateka maji ya mvua, inaingia kwa tenki, ninauza maji ya Mungu. So when you borrow, this is what you do. Borrow for good debts, not bad debts. Borrow for investments. What must you do? Before you go to Nyati Sacco kukopa loan, jiulize haya maswali. I will only read them. Every time unajaza application form ya loan hapa Nyati Sacco, you must ask yourself these questions. Number one, why am I borrowing? Am I borrowing to finance income deficits or for capital? Please write this in capital letters. Please. Unless if you are you don't have a book mahali uko. If you can write this even somewhere. Loan is not a source of income. I repeat, loan is not a source of income. I repeat again, loan is not a source of income. Loan is a source of capital. So please don't balance the deficit in your pay slip with a loan. Ati maana mshahara imekuwa kidogo ndio unachukua mshwari, unachukua fuliza, unachukua emergency, advance, sijui gani. No. Loan is not a source of income. It's a source of capital. That's why loan is a liability. Capital to do what? To invest in income generating activities. So please, ukibeba loan form kupereka pale Nyati Sacco, jiulize, are you about to acquire lifestyle debts? Ukichukua loan uende hapo Nyati Sacco, jiulize, the highest proportion of your personal debts hapo Nyati Sacco, is it for acquiring earning assets ama ni ya kununua liabilities? Please, this is the point where I say 70-30. Less proportion of your personal debt should go into non-earning assets where it is unavoidable. You would rather ukuje hapa Nyati Sacco upatiwe loan ya shilingi 6,000 uende ulipie baba yako na mam card ya NHIF kuliko uchukue loan ya 50,000 kuwapeleka hospitali. Okay? Number 2. Ukichukua loan form kwenda Nyati Sacco, unapaswa kujiuliza, do you have a loan plan? Please, hizi maswali hizi hata wale hawakuingia kwa hii mkutano waeleze. Do you have a loan plan? How? Where are you going to spend each coin of the borrowed funds? Next, never divert funds to purpose which was not your intended unless you do careful cost benefit analysis. Unajua bwana CEO, nimewahi kuona members kwa Sacco si yako. You know, this is my first time to interact with your Sacco. Kwa Sacco unakuta member anapewa loan ya school fees ya kama 30,000 ama 80,000. wengine wanapewa 100 plus. Mtoto anafukuzwa shule na baba alichukua loan ya school fees because alienda kuwekelea mahali, anasema wacha niwekelee kwa hii kabiashara. Kama unabeba loan ya kwenda kulima nyanya ama kulima mboga ama kulima kuku, do you understand that market? You know, even if I'm telling you colleagues you invest, I'm not telling you to be emotional in investments. Understand what you are investing in. Okay? Understand first. Personally giving you my experience. When we started farming kuku, poultry farming with my wife, tulileta vifaranga 150 kutoka Kenchik. 75% of them died. Maana tulikuwa tunalima kwa ujinga. Hatukuwa tunaweka warmth ile inahitajika, mazingira ya mahali tumeziweka. Tulipoleta vet aziangalie, alisema nyinyi mtu akitoka na mtoto maternity, si unaonanga katoto kamefunikwa? Hivyo ndivyo vifaranga za siku moja zinahakikisha environment iko sawa mpaka ziweze kujipigania. I ran. What did we do? My wife went for studies. 2 weeks. Kali pale Naivasha. Myself. The workers who are handling, 2 workers. Currently we have 2 people who are doing that poultry farming. Plus us, we are 4. Ukiongeza watoto, tunakuwa pamoja kufanya hiyo kazi. When I am not doing what I'm telling you, kazi yangu ni kuangalia farm. But today, from having a mortality rate of 75%, at no given time tuko na less than 2,500 in our poultry farm. Yani zile ziko ripe kuuza. Lakini tulianzia kwa kufanya ujinga. Hii ni kumaanisha ukifanya biashara iwe ni ya matatu, yeah? You know, this weekend CEO, I was speaking in another investment forum for a financial institution, and one entrepreneur came and said, unajua mimi nimepack gari 4 haziwezi kwenda kwa matatu, lakini unajua alikuwa ananunua magari mabovu. Unachukuaje loan ya milioni kama 3 unaenda kununua magari kama 4 hivi ati uziweke kwa matatu na ni second hand? 2 zilikuwa ma engine. Understand. And even if you ever started a business na ikaanguka, hakuna mama na baba wakizaa mtoto akufe wanasemanga hawatazaa tena. Wacha hiyo maneno. You go back to the drawing board. Number 4, remind yourself loan is a liability, not an asset to you. Ukichukua loan ya 500, 700, 1,000, milioni 1, milioni 2, usiambie watu wewe ni tajiri wa milioni 1, maana umechukua loan ya milioni 1. Ambia watu umechimba shimo ya 1 million feet below sea level. Halafu uambie utatoka kwa hiyo shimo aje. The moment you start thinking a loan is a liability, you will stop buying liabilities with it. Number 5. I said, remember, after you clear your loan, you should be more than the principal you borrowed, interest you paid, plus the inflation factor and interest. I think I mentioned this in passing. For those that are in debt trap, how do you get out of debt trap? Don't treat loan as a source of income. Kwa hivyo usichukue loan maana mshahara yako ilichelewa, ama maana mshahara ilikuwa kidogo, hukufanya overtime, ama hukupata commuter, ama hukupata hii ama ile. Hapana. Create alternative sources of income. Number 2, run areas that are bringing you in courtship with debts. Ni makosa ati wewe unakunywa pombe ya 10,000 kila mwezi, lakini kwa sako unaweka 1,000. Ni makosa unakunywa 5,000 kila mwezi, lakini kwa sako unaweka 1,000 na ukiwa umeng'ang'ana na staff. Sasa kama unakunywa shilingi 10,000 kila mwezi and you only have 1 source of income, ama uko na 2 sources of income pekee, si mwisho wa mwaka utakuwa umekunywa 120. Hiyo ni bonda moja ndugu. Don't make every need an emergency. Remind yourself rent, shopping, fuel, farm input, school fees, family outings. drinking spree, those are not emergencies. Ati December lazima uchukue karoni ya kwenda kutembeza jamii Krismasi. Since when did Christmas become an emergency? That date is always there until Jesus comes. Number 5, never borrow because you qualify. Hapana sema member ni loan. Member ni loan ile inamsaidia, si loan ambayo inamutesa. Anakaa akikuja top up. By the way, topping up Manager Henry is not wrong, but a member should only know he should top up. Kama niko na Saron na nachukua top up, should be for working capital, ili nilete kiti ya pili ya hiyo Saron ama mashini ya pili ya hiyo Saron. Kama niko na hoteli nina top up because kuna conference imekuja in the zone where hoteli yako iko na unahitaji uongeze chakula, lakini si top up ya kuweka kwa tumbo. Topping up is good, but you should not. Kama una top up ili uweke mandirisha kwa hiyo mjengo ama uweke roofing ama uweke milango ili watu waingie kwa hizo nyumba zako, it is okay. Lakini kama una top up kwa mambo zingine, don't just pick our own thing, pick our own that is helping you. In case you are in a debt problem, this is what you do. Remember, it's your moral and legal obligation to pay debts. Accept the situation. Don't live in assumption. Then don't get yourself into more lifestyle debts. If already you are in a debt situation, wachana na mambo ya furuliza, nani nini. What do? Pay them, style, and control yourself. Be honest with your circle and any other lender. Hata kama ni ndugu yako ama dada yako, be honest with them. So I think at that point I need to stop and ask people to give me questions, because all these other things I've talked about them. These are the investment types I talked about. Yeah. So these are investment types I talked about. I think I've mentioned several of these. Several of these. Could be chicken rearing, rabbit, fish farming, tree, vegetable, secondary farming, like buying cereals. By the way, Bwana CEO, as I ask your members to ask question, me, I don't farm cereals. Lakini wakati watu Kitui wanaenda kuharvest baazi na ndengu, ninatumanga huko lori 2 zinaenda zinaleta ndengu na mbaazi, lakini sinanga shamba ya mbaazi na ndengu. Ziki appreciate ninauza. Mimi sina mahali ati niko karibu na msitu, lakini nilipartner na rafiki yangu ambaye ni neighbor kwangu. Yeye anatoka karibu na Mount Kenya Forest na huyo mwingine anatoka karibu na huko Elgeyo Marakwet Forest. Tukaweka ng'ombe na kondoo msituni. Lakini mimi sina msitu yangu. Na hizo kondoo siziangaliangi kila siku. Lakini zitauzwa. Maana ni mingi. What I'm saying is this: never give excuse to everyone who is here. Never. There is something you can do. Hata wale ambao wanaishi town, we unaishi huku town, you can still do urban farming. So may I invite questions?
Thanks, Daniel, for that interactive session. I think it has been a learning curve. I want to appreciate the board members who are with us. We have our Vice Chair Jacob Isaiah. We have the Chairman of Education Committee who will be talking shortly, Nicholas Chule. We have our Treasurer, Dr. Bohasho Edward. We have Akineta Wakio. We have Fede Idinji. We have Walter Onyango. We have Amos Mageto. Our chairman, Charles Mbuvi, is a bit late. He's organizing he's seeing through the marathon over the weekend, the Standard Chartered Marathon. He has sent his apologies to this team. So I want to invite our Mr. Nicholas Chules before we go to the question and answer. Nicholas. Nicholas, I can see you. Chule. If you can't get me, I will invite our vice chair, Jacob.
Thanks, Daktari, and thanks to our Mwalimu today, Mr. Daniel. We do really appreciate you for being with us, and I've been following up actually your teachings. And you normally say that every day is a learning process. I personally, as the vice chair of the circles, have learned a lot from you today, and I'm pretty sure all our members who have been on the call, they have gotten something that is going to change their lives right away from this session actually of happy days. This is very good, and I do hope, Dr. You'll make some more sessions like this so that you can have Daniel come on board. Yeah, he'll be able to take our team to this session, which is very good for our members and especially for their own growth, especially when they're
Any amendment? Yeah.
Muted.
Okay, Nicholas, you can.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think Jacob has been muted. Apologies, I had some mic issues there, and I just want to appreciate our members for taking time to attend this session. This is the third session we are having, and really appreciate members because the turnout is encouraging, and we will sustain this. Secondly, to Daniel, I think it has been helpful for the members, and we really appreciate taking time to share with us your thoughts on personal financial management. So we will. What I promise the members is that we will sustain these trainings going forward. Every 2 months, we'll continue to share knowledge on different topics, and therefore we thank members for the attendance that now is consistent, and we can look ahead and say we can sustain this. Back to you, CEO.
Thanks, Nicholas. Nicholas is the chairman of education committee. He's in charge of today member education, and that's why I had to invite him and our vice chair. So I want to ask members if you have any issue to Daniel. I think today's session has been very interactive. He will share with us the slides, and we will also share with you so that you can go through. I'll now hand over to Emily so that you can guide with Daniel. Emily.
Okay, thank you so much, CEO. I can see David Simiu's hand is up. So David, you can unmute your microphone so that you can ask your question. David Simiu, if you have a question, please raise your hand.
Yeah, Mr. Daniel, I have a question here concerning about savings. You've talked about members to save more in Nyati Sacco. As you can, as you know very well that G4S is a private entity, and in private entity, an investor can at any given time decide to close down the company. Also, in some incidents, there are these things of redundancy. Keeping in mind a member has been saving maybe in his junior saving account, and more so in savings account in deposit and shares, meaning that member has no any other entity, wherever the reason, whether bank or anywhere else that he saves his money. So when this guy gets an abrupt redundancy, he ends up losing everything. In that, even he can't get even a fare to his place, so that he can maybe plan of how to manage the situation from the job. So in this regards, how can you advise?
Thank you, Bwana Simiu. That's an excellent. Yeah, good. Thank you, Bwana Simiu. That's quite an excellent question. I picked your question that it is true. The organizations we are working for, they can either render one redundant, they can either dismiss, or something can happen and an employee who is a member in Nyati Sacco loses job. And they have got no alternative sources. The essence, the advice I can give such a member is, or I can give generally is, it is always advisable that a person should not depend on one source of income. So that at the time when this person is working in that company, he should commit himself and take a financial sacrifice and commitment for himself to save in Nyati Sacco. Akichukua loans, habaransishe hizo loans zake jinsi hataanza kujenga mfereji ya pili. And by him creating second source of income, the only thing he cannot do is to do security job, because it will be in conflict with the employer. But any other that is not in conflict with the employer, he should do. Please let all our members, because David Simiu is asking on behalf of all of us, no person should depend on one source of income at all, irrespective of the commitment, irrespective of family size, irrespective of background. Because even when, if for example, I have got 3 children and I lose my job and I am supporting mom, I'm supporting dad, I'm educating my brother, because that's the scenario that Simiu is painting for all of us, and even who have not attended. Remember, even if you're educating your brother, supporting your family, in case you lose that job, will you support them? No, that's why you need to have a risk management strategy. Income can stop. Bottom line to all of us is, and those who will listen to this podcast thereafter, don't depend on one source of income. It is a financial sabotage to be 40 years old and above and you are depending on a salary. By the way, I repeat, it is financial sabotage to be over 40 years depending on one source of income. And I think Bwana Simiu has assisted all of us to wake up and to encourage the members downstream, even the newly employed. We should tell them they should be loyal to the company, they should be faithful, honest, serve their employer honestly with all due diligence, but bottom line, they should build that alternative sources of. And by the way, for example, even as I finish answering that question, even let me pick an example. Does G4S only offer one product? G4S is selling guns, it is offering security guns, it is offering cash in transit. G4S is offering, somebody educate me, which are the products of G4S? How many products does G4S sell? That tells you even the owners of G4S are not depending on one source. Somebody should go on the chat box and educate me on that as the other person asks his question. If G4, and somebody should educate me, by the way, and that's what every delegate who is here should train the members using. How many products is G4S selling? Bwana Nicholas.
We have 6. What we call service lines. We have 6. We are selling guards, we are doing courier, we are doing fire, we are doing technology installations, we are doing response. So it's many things, as you say.
So then if that's the case, Bwana Vice Chair, then why should a person who is, if that company which is a billions company, if that company which is a billion company is not selling only one product, why should Kidenji who is working there depend on only one source of income? It is wrong. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's have more questions. Please raise your hand if you have a question. If you don't want to speak, you can write on the chat box. So from the chat box, we have James Kageri. He's asking whether it's possible to share those notes through Nyati Sacco, then Nyati Sacco to send the notes to all delegates through email to educate other Nyati members. Yes, James, this is possible. We have recorded the training session. So the members who did not attend will listen to the session and see all the slides as though they were here with us. So this is possible. Then we have Marie Jenga saying excellent training. Shadrach Muziumi, educative, it's worth listening. Esther Cargo, very informative training. Dan Moses is also saying thanks, Daniel. Please raise your hand if you have a question. Dominic Karanja, karibu sana. Raise your hand if you have a question. Jay Londeko, informative indeed. Okay. David, you can lower your hand unless you have another question.
Yes, I have another question.
Okay, okay. Please proceed.
Okay. Please proceed. Mr. Daniel has not answered my question. Mr. Daniel, the question is, I'm a member of SACCO. I save my savings to SACCO. From my junior savings account, I save in SACCO. My other source of income, I save in the SACCO. So the question was, when a redundancy comes, which is not for my wish, Nyati ends up taking all the savings that I save to pay off the loans, of which on the page of the when applying for the loan, I indicated where there's a box that you tick, savings, shares, and there's another column that says others. On that column of others, I didn't tick for the others. Others means my other source of savings, that is junior savings account, and the savings that I get from other entities apart from the savings from the employer. So my question was, why does SACCO, I don't know whether another SACCO does so, why do they take all the savings that I have to pay off my loans, of which I didn't tick for that part of other savings to be considered when I default the loan? That is the question that I was asking.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you, Bwana David, for that, asking that question on behalf of all of us. The question is this way. Why shouldn't the SACCO then hang on your deposits that are with the SACCO in case the person has been rendered redundant? The rule is this, and I wish every member could write down this. SACCO Society Deposit Taking Business Regulations of 2010. SACCO Societies Deposit Taking Business Regulations of 2010. Specifically, Section 32. Every loan in the SACCO should be fully secured. I repeat, every loan in the SACCO should be fully secured. The same act, which, remember, this act is governing all the 176 deposit-taking SACCOs and all the non-withdrawable SACCOs that have been registered by SASRA. Any loan that a member, it is deemed that a customer might face a challenge to pay in the near future because of effect on his source of repayment. If a member is employed, source of repaying the loan is salary. If the salary has been extinguished, that loan is deemed a risky loan in the law kwa sheria ya taifa la Kenya. Therefore, the regulator requires that the financial institution take measures that will reduce the possibility of the money being not paid going into arrears. Because if the money goes into arrears, it will lead to high provisions. If provisions goes up, the SACCO then will have to write them off in the profits. Then the income of the SACCO reduces. Your dividend as members reduces. So it is the regulator that demands that loan, because kama nilikuwa nalipa loan kupitia mshahara na mshahara imekuwa extinguished, then inamaanisha next month sitaweza kulipa miezi hiyo ingine mbili until I get a job. So what is the right procedure? The SACCO should hold any asset I own within. We call it arrears. They have to place arrears. You may have given guarantors, but remember, the SACCO has arrears under the SACCO Societies Act, Cooperative Act. One of the liabilities or obligations of a member under Cooperative Act Chapter 490 is that before that member leaves the society, he should settle all his liabilities by netting them off against his assets. That's what the law says. Therefore, does it happen only in Nyati? It happens in all SACCOs. I have assistant SACCOs that are in flower sector. Yeah, you know, in 2020 when flowers there was effect and the flower horticulture market was affected, I can tell you of SACCOs that retrenched, even who knows them. So it affected. And that's what they had to do. Asante.
Okay. Simiyu, I hope it's now clear. Has he answered your question, Simiyu? Okay. We'll go to the next question from Robert Esabwa. How do we deal with arrears as per now, especially due to 2/3 rule? How do we deal with arrears as per now, especially due to 2/3 rule?
You wish to take that, Emery, or I take it?
You can take it.
Okay, thank you. Now, due to the Finance Act, some new deductions that were not going into the payslip have come in. Yeah. Some of those deductions that have come to your payslip due to the Finance Act is like housing levy, things like adjustment in NHIF, NSSF, and adjustment in NHIF. These adjustments are affecting the take home for the employee. So then what should the SACCO do? Remember, the law requires, I wish I could read for us the law, but I also want to invite us again into the same law. We call it SACCO Society Deposit Taking Business Regulations, that kukona required standard of how the loan should be provided, ama the loan should be reported by the SACCO. We call them SACCO Deposit Taking Business Regulations. So for the loan not to go into arrears, the SACCO should take measures to ensure that if the member, for example, kama vile bwana tunamuita bwana nani, tunamuita bwana the person who has the question, Robert. Like Robert has asked, you may find that initially ulikuwa uko na unalipa loan zako vizuri, lakini uko na basic ya tuseme gross pay yako tuseme ni kama 24,000 ama 30. Ukigonga 1.5% ya 30, that is a new deduction itaingia. Na ukumbuke sheria inasema aje, housing levy must be remitted every month. which means if you introduce the 1.5, which is affecting your gross pay of 1.5% of, say, is it 1.5% of 30,000, if that's the basic, if that's the basic, then it means umeongezwa hapo ndani something to do with 450 sharings. That squeezes your ability to pay the loan by 450. Now, the best strategies here is I first of all encourage members to bank more money from their alternative sources, or pengine the SACCO now has to have a restructure mechanism, rescheduling mechanism for those particular loans, because generally kuna watu wengi payslip zao zitakuwa affected. But if the members would be encouraged to have their alternative sources flowing through the SACCO, that would make it easy for the SACCO to handle what? Debts going into arrears. Now, somebody is asking in the platform, good evening, Mr. Daniel, what is the best debt correcting method that you can advise Nyati SACCO that is convenient and effective, as most members are suffering paying defaulted loans? My take on that, best debt recovery method starts with, number one, dealing with every member of Nyati SACCO should be conscious of this statement. It is his moral and legal obligation to pay debts. So every comrade in Nyati SACCO should know it is a personal responsibility, a legal duty, and a moral duty. Moral, M-O-R-A, moral duty to pay the debt. But in case I was working like previously David has given us a scenario and I have lost job, I should know that that's not the end of the world. I should have a negotiation with the people that have guaranteed me. Sipaswi kufutwa kazi nipige chenga. Na hiyo ndio maana delegates wanapaswa kuwa wako macho. Kama we ni delegates una represent zone ile huko, you must regularly know what is your flock, ili usiache members wa hiyo zone yako mwingine anatoka job, anaacha wengine wakiteseka. So Bwana James, on behalf of everybody, the first debt correction method is consciousness of the liability by each member in Nyati SACCO. Besides that, the guarantor should be vigilant. The delegate should be able to feed the SACCO with information, but not marries right information. That's why a delegate should be conscious of his environment. Give the SACCO the right information about the status of those members. In case the member then is not paying, prompt notification by the SACCO of those guarantors. Prompt notification. Lakini unajua member anaweza kuwa amefutwa tarehe 2, alafu SACCO ina expect deduction mwisho ya mwezi. Sasa si SACCO itajua after 1 month, which means we can't fault the SACCO, because Kidenji anaweza kuwa amefutwa tarehe 2 na SACCO ina expect loan yake ilipwe mwisho wa mwezi, kumaanisha hiyo mwezi hana mshahara. Who is responsible? The people within his jurisdiction should feed the information. Once it's known, notify the SACCO. When the SACCO is notified, and then these loans should be recovered from guarantors. Why should the loans be recovered from guarantors first? Because they have the moral authority to pay the loans when they are defaulted by their primary people they guaranteed. There are 2 ways, either attaching their shares of guarantors or by feeding that loan into their payslip. So it is dependent on the risk preference of the SACCO and the demands of the regulator. If shove comes to shove, then that's when you go to debt correctors. But there is no need of transferring a loan to a debt corrector when the guarantor is there and the deposits are there. Then you can also use alternative methods. Now, this is not answering the question to James. Allow members to pick loans using their logbooks, their title deeds. Yeah. But also now you must know the cost of changing the logbook and title deed will be borne by the member. Member ndiye analipia. Rand valuation inalipiwa na member. Kuchange hiyo rand inalipiwa na member. Kuvalue hiyo gari inalipiwa na member. Kuichange hiyo gari online kwa BRS inalipiwa na member. So also the member should be prepared for that. But the other thing, yes.
Had you concluded?
You can take it, because I think the other question was by Anthony before we go to it.
Okay. I think you've answered part of Anthony's question on debt collection defaulter, though he's asking whether the SACCO should do away with the department, because you mentioned in the training that the guarantors are the ones supposed to follow the defaulter. So I'll take this and say that we shall not do away with the department, because the department helps the member to follow up on the loan. The member is not able, or rather the guarantor is not able to follow up on the loan alone. Therefore, the department helps the members to follow up. And that's why we have the debt collection department. And we also have external debt collectors to help in that, and the tribunals. So these are just, SACCO has put this in place to help the guarantor and the member in order to follow up the loan. So the other question he had, I'll take two questions, and then we stop at that. The other question we had is from Anthony Kimondo. No, Anthony will answer this question. We are taking from Edwin Soita. Why can I guarantee people loans of over 1.5 million and yet I can't even secure 800K loan unless you boost? What is the purpose of deducting insurance? Edwin, I think this is internal. We'll just take it up. If you have loan, for you to qualify for loan, it doesn't look at the guarantors, the people you've guaranteed. We look at the income. So if your income is able to give you the 800K loan, we are able to facilitate that. So over and above the security as guarantors, we also look at the income, which the member has need to have an income that will enable them pay for the loan. And then the insurance only takes care of loan if the member dies. So if the member is alive and is working, insurance will not take care of the loan. So that is the reason why it is like that. So the last question I'm taking is from Immaculate Odhiambo. How will you consider the person banking money from other sources while giving loan without considering their third of the salary? I think I've answered that when answering Edwin Soita's. A third rule has to be checked. As much as you're banking with us, of course, we do loans from FOSA using, you can take loans through FOSA, and also you can take loans through your payslip through deduction of checkoff. But we cannot do away with the third rule because you're saving with us. Your loan is given because of the ability to pay and not the money that you save with us. Basically, it's the ability to pay and then times 4 of your deposit. Those are the things we consider. So
maybe I can say something, Emery.
Okay.
I want to reinforce on what the member Robert and member Robert and also member Edwin Soita. In terms of the insurance, remember insurance, as Emery has put it, caters for the loan in case the primary borrower, kama ni mimi Kithenji nimechukua loan na nimegarantiwa na watu 5, mimi nikifa ndio hiyo loan inalipwa na insurance. But if I have lost, if for example I don't have income and I am alive and kicking, that loan will not be paid by insurance. So that the member should be conscious of that. The loan can only be paid in case the insurance was saying in the event of permanent disability, meaning I can't do any income generating activity again. So that's the thing. The other thing was to supplement as well on Immaculate Odhiambo question is, if your rental income is flowing through Nyati SACCO, your business income from all those sources is flowing through Nyati SACCO, that money that is coming through Nyati SACCO, as Emery has put it, is that plus your salary. Remember now, what accurate you mean is uko na salary na uko na rental income, uko na M-Pesa income, nini zote zinapitia kwa Nyati Sacco. All those will be checked, their consistency. That's why the staff are trained. Unajua kuna mtu anaweza enda anzisha biashara, hata ana biashara, lakini kila mwezi kila siku after every 3 days ana bank 5,000, 10,000, alafu akuje kwa Sacco aseme niko na biashara. The business has to be physically seen, be assessed for consistency and regularity. That's very key. Then again, I think you answered the question on Bwana Geoffrey Okundi. That was clear in terms of guarantor. There is this thing that Bwana Anthony, I think it's Anthony K-Bag. I don't know, K-Bag. Bwana Anthony K-Bag, oh yeah, it's Anthony Kimondo, yes. There is the part of the question where you are saying, how can on number 2, on how we can get more other sources on money, income, but remember in Kenya we are in most of business are not doing well. Government are taxing everything, and also even when trying to do like farming, weather patterns have changed. What is your take on this? Thank you, Daniel. My take is don't fear to do business because government is looking for taxes. Check which business. That's why there is something we call business cycles. Check business that can work with your weather. For example, kuna mtu aliuliza swali huko juu, anauza mitumba na akasema biashara ya mitumba siku hizi ifanyi sana. What type? Because people must clothe themselves. What type of clothes must you sell at what season? What business must you do at which season? If you are farming, what type of farming are you doing? Is it rain-fed? If you are doing farming that is rain-fed, it is always going to be affected. But you can also check what is the cycle. For example, Bwana Anthony, let me use Anthony on behalf of all of us. If maize farming is your appetite, but you know the yields are not fetching as much, why invest 500,000 to do maize farming when you know the yields you will get because it is rain-fed will not be equivalent to what you have invested in 500? You would rather go and purchase when other farmers have harvested. Yeah. So then you stock those cereals, then you sell. Yeah. So if, for example, you know you want to do sim or you want to do soya, you want to do mbaazi, you know, personally I can't go to Kitui to risa shamba nipande mbaazi ama ndengu, but I always wait for them to harvest and I will purchase. What I mean is, bottom line, all of us, please let's not be shy to do extra source of income. By the way, even when government is taxing Bwana Anthony and on behalf of all of us, there are sectors that are doing well. Yesterday, the government, and is it yesterday or last week, Thursday, they announced an infrastructure board. I can tell you when the board will be floated on the 13th of next month, it will be paying 17%. Which means if you have your 100,000, you invest it with the government for the next number of years, it will generating more money. If you hand your 500,000, you go buy that infrastructure board or 200,000, minimum is 50,000 by the way. Then it will hand you. I can tell you people and businesses are making money even in such a situation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kithinji. I request that we close this meeting for now. There are questions that are there that we will answer directly to the members. I therefore request Alex Marube, who is the last one asking a question on a third role, kindly unmute your microphone so that you give a vote of thanks to Daniel on behalf of the other members who are here. Alex Marube. Alex, are you there? You give
I'm
us
there.
a vote of. Okay, thank you. Give us vote of thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel. You've educated us on how to financially take care of ourselves, not depending on only on salary. Actually, you have educated us. Most of us we have been asleep. Here we have got very informative advice that we will be getting into from now henceforth. For this, okay, I had my question also for about that that rule. You said according to our salary, you give out loans to us according to according to our earnings. But at times we get again we are being sent some notification concerning our loans that we have some arrears on our loans. I fail to understand what applies there, what goes on there.
Okay.
That's what I had.
Okay, Alex. Thank you so much for the vote of thanks. We will also take the question. Dr. Bet will answer that question as he closes the meeting. Kindly, Dr. Bet.
Thank you, Emily. I think to answer Alex, what normally happens is that at the time we are giving you the loan, your payslip is able to accommodate the deductions. But you know that as you take the loan, you always proceed on leave. When you come back from leave, your salary goes down. When the salary goes down, of course, you will have to send you a message because the employer is also looking at 1/3, as explained by the consultant, that a third rule is a master's by the labor law, and he gave us the section of the law which refers to the 2/3 rule. And I think it's important to note that during the year, why this particular year, especially why there are so many messages on arrears. One, he talked about the additional taxation which came in. You remember when we gave you the loan, there was no levy. The housing levy was not there. So when the housing levy comes in, it's a tax. So it's such a statutory tax. It's given a first priority over any other deduction. There was an increase in NNSF. When deductions are done, it is given a first priority. And then also the increase in the taxes. So those are the causes why we have to send you messages about arrears. So it is basically something which comes after. But of course, we'll have to, as the consultant has said, we have to look at other sources of income so that the members can be able to pay outside of the payroll, other than waiting for you to get the message that your loan is in arrears. If we had other sources, like he's talked about the entrepreneurial areas of getting income, when you get the message that your loan is in arrears, you'll be paying from those other sources, and it will help us to have to reduce on the arrears. That notwithstanding, we'll have to find how best we can address the issues of loans in arrears. As I conclude, when I talked about the board members who are present, we have our supervisory committee. They're already in the boardroom, and when they're in the boardroom, they're already having a meeting. The chairman of supervisory is Raphael Kabeva, is in the meeting. We have Bishop Kaberia is also in the meeting. Then we have Caro. They're in a meeting as we continue, but listening to the presentations as we go ahead. So I don't think Raphael will be in a position to talk. But if he is, he can be able to say hi to the team. So as I conclude, I want to thank the members for taking your time. It has been 2 hours, 28 minutes, the longest ever education session, which means the session has been interactive. I hope we have gotten something from it. We have requested for the slides. Yes, I think we'll talk to the consultant. He will be kind enough. He can share with us. We'll share it out with you so that you can also use it. As I said by our board member, Nicholas, I think these sessions will still have one more session before we close the year, which I hope will be more as interactive as the one for today. So I don't have much, Emily. I wish to return it back to you so that vote of thanks had been given. so that you can close for us the session.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Daktari, and all the members who have been here with us since we started this meeting and up to now. We encourage you to tell other members to be joining these sessions. They are very educative. If you learn something today, go and teach someone else. So mine is to say thank you on behalf of the staff, the board and management of Nyati Sacco. Those ones who are traveling to different destinations, we wish you well. I will close it with a short word of prayer and then you can exit. So let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight. We want to thank you for this session that we have had. Thank you for the deliberations that our members have had also. We thank you for those ones who are traveling to different destinations. May you give them journey mercies. Until we have another meeting, oh Lord, we pray for your protection throughout the time. For this is my humble request in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you, and good night, members.
Thank you.